So there's no preaching or teaching. It's an experience. And we bring Christ is alive, but we help people to feel him in the context of imagining them in the stories and responding to the stories. So in Grief to Grace, one of the living scriptures would be the Pool of Bethesda. You might have heard that many times, but in that meditation, Jesus actually comes to them and says, take up your mat and walk, after he asked them if they want to get well. And this might seem like a simple question, but it's really a part of our will to say, I want healing. God will never invade our boundaries. He's not going to impose himself on us, and especially with abuse victims. So to be able to envision and have that conversation with God where he says, do you want to get well? That's an act of your will where you respond. So every living scripture is an invitation to open your heart and your history to him, to make a little movement. And it has to be little movements because people with boundary violations don't trust, and they're not going to rush into anything where they think that somebody's going to screw them, even if that's God. And a lot of people after traumatic experiences do have that feeling of not being able to move forward and constantly reliving the past. And many people get to a place of so much pain and nothing else has helped them. They might have been in therapy for years, and what we're seeing for the latest neuroscience is showing that talk therapy doesn't really resolve for victims of trauma, that you need a different kind of approach that actually stimulates the right brain because of what I mentioned before happens in the brain and the physiological response. So it has to be able to calm and soothe the person, and we know that meditating on the scriptures does that. And then we have spiritual access to the power of God. And when I say the power of God, I mean he really does act with swiftness and immediate graciousness when a soul opens itself and says, Lord, come to me now. I need your help. I can't do this anymore by myself. And so all the living scripture exercises in the retreat, the community that we gather with, is all moving toward that goal and helping each other because everyone understands the disability that each person carries in trying to open up their hearts to an experience of transformation. And just like many of the people in Scripture who God healed, even the blind man, when the Lord's offering you healing, it's the do or die moment because your whole identity is going to change, whether you're a man with leprosy, whether you're a blind man. How you see the world and how others see you is going to change dramatically. And people, frankly, we're afraid to change because we know that change might be uncomfortable, and even though we might hate our situation, it's very familiar to us, and the unknown is what people struggle with. It's not the idea of being healed, but it's the unknown. And so the program's very beautiful and encouraging and supporting and helping people give voice to the deepest places in their soul that yearn for intimacy with others and intimacy with God.